My treacherous stepsister seduced my husband, ruined my marriage, and then demanded my blessing. Here's how I crashed her wedding. My name is Olivia. I'm 41. My husband Alex, 45. And I had been together for nearly 14 years, married for 12. Those early years were pure bliss. Living in our cozy Portland apartment, we spent weekends hiking the Columbia River Gorge and evenings planning our future. Every moment felt precious. Our inside jokes, spontaneous road trips to Seattle, and quiet Sunday mornings with coffee on our balcony. We were partners in every sense, facing life's challenges side by side, our happiness seemingly unshakable. Then, without warning, everything changed. Alex, a software developer who had always been attentive and present, became increasingly distant. Our dinner conversations grew shorter, and he spent more time staring at his phone than talking to me. The intimacy we once shared faded, replaced by an uncomfortable silence that filled our home. Date nights at our favorite restaurant downtown became tense, lacking the easy conversation we once enjoyed. I began suspecting an affair. The late-night text messages, the sudden work emergencies, and his emotional detachment were impossible to ignore. When I confronted him, Alex dismissed my concerns, claiming I was overreacting to his increased workload. But my intuition told me otherwise. One rainy Thursday evening, I decided to surprise Alex at his office with dinner from our favorite Thai restaurant. When I arrived, I received a text explaining he would be working late. As I sat in my car contemplating whether to leave the food at reception, I spotted him exiting the building. Confused, I watched as he drove away, clearly not staying late as claimed. Curiosity and dread propelled me to follow him through the rain-slicked streets. He parked outside a trendy bar in the Pearl District, a place we'd visited together numerous times. I watched from my car as he entered, and after gathering my courage, I followed at a distance. What I witnessed shattered my world. There, in a dimly lit corner, sat Alex, with a woman whose silhouette seemed strangely familiar. When she turned, I nearly collapsed. It was Megan, my stepsister. Their hands were intertwined across the table, their expressions conveying an intimacy that pierced my heart. I fled the scene, barely making it home before breaking down completely. Some background about Megan. She's 36, 4 years younger than me, and became my stepsister when I was 12, after my father married her mother, Diane. Initially, we got along well enough, sharing a bathroom and occasionally borrowing each other's clothes. But as we grew older, Megan's true nature emerged. She was calculating and manipulative, expertly turning situations to her advantage, whether with our parents or classmates. For reasons I never fully understood, Megan harbored a deep-seated jealousy toward me. Despite my attempts to form a sisterly bond, she remained cold and competitive. When I earned a scholarship to study journalism at the University of Oregon, her resentment intensified. After college, our interactions became limited to family gatherings, where she would make subtle jabs about my career as a magazine editor or my appearance. Megan, now a real estate agent, had always shown inappropriate interest in my partners. With Alex, her behavior had been especially brazen, complimenting his physique or suggesting he deserved someone more attractive. Alex had seemed uncomfortable with her attention back then, but clearly something had changed. That night, when Alex returned home reeking of whiskey and Megan's distinctive perfume, I pretended to sleep. The next morning, I waited until he left for work before examining his phone. The evidence was overwhelming: intimate messages, clandestine meeting plans, and photos that confirmed my worst fears. I documented everything on my own device, then drove to my mother's house in Vancouver, where I broke down completely. My mother, Catherine, was furious. Having treated Megan like her own daughter for decades, she felt doubly betrayed. Together, we devised a plan. We would expose them at a family dinner I would host that weekend. When Saturday arrived, our dining room filled with unsuspecting family members. After the main course, I asked for everyone's attention and connected my phone to the projector we'd set up. What followed was a stunned silence as I displayed the evidence of Alex and Megan's affair. The messages, the photos, the lies. "I wanted you all to know the truth," I stated, my voice surprisingly steady. "My husband Alex and my stepsister Megan have been having an affair for months." The room erupted in shock. Diane covered her mouth in horror while my stepfather Richard stared at Megan with palpable disappointment. Alex sat frozen, his face drained of color, while Megan's usual composure crumbled under the weight of exposed deceit. "I'll be filing for divorce," I concluded. "If Megan wants my husband, she can have him." The aftermath was brutal. I spent weeks barely able to function, alternating between crying and staring blankly at walls. Sleep became my only escape from the pain. The divorce proceedings dragged on, but eventually freedom came. The day the papers were finalized, I celebrated with my mother, feeling genuine happiness for the first time in months. Then came the Facebook notification. A post from Megan announcing her engagement to Alex, complete with intimate photos and a dazzling ring. My momentary peace shattered instantly. That evening, as I processed this new blow at my mother's house, Richard received a call from Megan, excitedly sharing her news. I asked him to put her on speaker. She gushed about her happiness until Richard sternly reminded her of the pain she'd caused. Then came the most shocking request. Megan wanted me to attend their wedding and deliver a speech blessing their union. The audacity of this request ignited something in me. Instead of breaking down again, I formulated a plan. I would attend their wedding, but not alone. Excusing myself from my parents' concerned gazes, I retreated to the guest room and opened my laptop. After hours of searching through Megan's old social media posts, I found what I needed. Numerous references to her college boyfriend Nathan, supposedly the love of her life. They had dated for 3 years, and Megan had even tattooed his initials on her wrist before their devastating breakup. I tracked Nathan down on social media and reached out. After explaining who I was and detailing the situation, I proposed my plan. Would he accompany me to Megan's wedding? Intrigued, and perhaps harboring his own unresolved feelings, Nathan agreed. On the wedding day, I entered the venue with newfound confidence, Nathan beside me in a perfectly tailored suit. Alex noticed us immediately, his eyes widening in recognition. He approached, demanding to know what game I was playing, but could do nothing without causing a scene. When Megan appeared at the entrance with Richard, she initially flashed me a triumphant smile. Then she spotted Nathan. She froze mid-step, her bouquet trembling in her hands. The music continued, but Megan remained rooted to the spot, her expression morphing from shock to fury. Breaking away from her father, she stormed toward us. "What is this?" she hissed. "Congratulations, Megan," I replied calmly. "I brought my +1, Nathan. You remember him, right? Or should I mention the tattoo?" Nathan offered polite congratulations, but Megan was beyond reason. "You're ruining everything!" she screamed, drawing stunned looks from the guests. "You invited me," I reminded her. "I'm simply here to celebrate, as requested." The room fell silent as Megan's composure completely shattered. She hurled her bouquet across the room and stormed out, leaving a bewildered Alex and shocked guests in her wake. With my head held high, Nathan and I departed. Mission accomplished. The aftermath was swift and complete. Megan refused to go through with the wedding, suggesting her feelings for Nathan had never truly died. Alex bombarded me with angry messages, which I promptly blocked. Richard was understandably upset with me, but my mother stood firmly in my corner. I don't regret my actions. I never broke vows or betrayed family. I merely held up a mirror to those who did. Sometimes consequences are the only language people understand. Now I'm focusing on rebuilding my life, rediscovering passions I'd set aside, and surrounding myself with genuine people. The journey of healing isn't easy, but for the first time in a long while, I'm facing the future with hope instead of dread. If you enjoyed this story of betrayal and sweet revenge, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more real-life drama and stories of justice served.